Hello, Epoxy Jim here, working on a small project here. Just want to show how I put these stripes in the table. Mixing up my mica powders in the cups first with some alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. It's essentially making a slurry. The purpose of that is just to have the mica powder mixed up before putting your epoxy in with it, and that way you don't get clumps. So I'm gonna start mixing the epoxy here, starting with part B. So usually what I start with, equal amounts, 1-to-1 ratio, part A, part B. You definitely got to get this right. Mixing it thoroughly is very important, or you will get sticky spots. So put this in 1-to-1, and then either hand mix it or use a drill with the paddle. I typically mix 2 to 3 minutes. I usually go about 3 minutes just to make sure that this is mixed together very well. Okay, so now that my epoxy's mixed up, I'm pouring it in my cups of mica slurry and give them a good mix. Get the colors mixed up good. It also gives it a second stir in case there's unmixed epoxy in there. So I think I went with a black and a gray. I also have some spray paint there that's upside down. That's just to get it mixed up a little bit. I'm going to add that. I started introducing spray paint, which you gotta be careful with, but it really does some cool effects with fracturing. So I'm going to mix this up a while and then start pouring it on the table. I'm spreading the black out here, and this is black. I think the camera almost makes it look kind of gray. My round table, it's primered black and it kind of looks gray, so that's definitely black. So poured that on first, spread that out, let it level a little bit, then pour the gray on here. You can do whatever you want with this stuff. This is the neat thing about epoxy. You can pretty much do anything you want with it. It does kind of take on a mind of its own. You might have an idea in your head on the colors, and even with the colors, they'll blend together and make something new and different. So about the only thing that you can semi-control is the pattern. Outside of that, it has a mind of its own. So I just add a little spray paint, put these lines through it. Do this a couple of times because it's just filling right back in, but I wanted to start to get that black I put on earlier to come through a little bit. I typically tape these around the edges to keep the epoxy in, but you wouldn't be able to put any lines in it if you did that. So making sure the tension spots are starting to flow, you just have to get that moving on the edges, and once you get that out, it'll start going on its own. So now I'm going to spray some alcohol on this after I put a little heat to it. You want to put, you either want to use a heat gun like I'm using here, or a torch. Really have to be careful with a torch. actually throw some direct heat with a torch, and you can actually burn your epoxy, which I've done that before too. So you want to be careful with the heat gun. Also, you can do the same thing. You can burn your epoxy and it'll yellow. So I'm gonna spray the alcohol on here. I like using isopropyl alcohol on epoxy. It gives the colors a crazy effects, but I can tell you that the when you put spray paint on there on any of your projects, the alcohol really has an effect on just the spray paint itself. As you can see here, I did not like how that was looking, but it ended up turning out okay in the end. I just relined it and it kind of again took on a shape of its own. So you want to do heat not as quickly as I did it there. Your alcohol will catch on fire, and I've learned that the hard way too. So here I'm putting my final lines. Trying to bring some of that black through from the original first pour that I did in the beginning. trying to get some of that black to pull through that gray and the aluminum, I believe it was, spray paint. What I should have done probably is waited a little bit longer to start putting lines through until the epoxy kind of set up a little bit. It'll thicken and my lines would have stayed in it a little better maybe. So applying some heat again, the heat get the bubbles out, helps it level, and makes it basically clear as glass. And then there you go. Table is complete.